Palantir literally took a nosedive today. It was down 4% pre-market, and it ended up finishing the day around 9% down at around $15 a share. Yesterday, Palantir went north of $16, nearly hitting $17, and we all thought by Friday there's a huge possibility that $17 would be a reality for Palantir. It's funny because Palantir just surpassed the 20-day moving average and the 50-day moving average, showing for a really nice run-up when it comes to Palantir in terms of the technicals. And lo and behold, pre-market, Morgan Stanley comes and they upgrade the price of Palantir but downgrade the status of Palantir. So their price target for Palantir was $8 a share, and they upgraded them to $9 a share, but downgraded their status of underperform, which is absolutely freaking crazy. And because of this, they caused a crazy reaction, and the price of Palantir absolutely bombed. You guys might recognize the name Morgan Stanley because Morgan Stanley actually is a shareholder of Palantir, which I'll get into in just a moment. But let's talk about Morgan Stanley's report. It's going to be a really laid back, relaxed, lax review of the report. If you want something a little more detailed, go check out Amit's channel. He reviewed the entire report. I'm sorry I was on the field all day long, and it's 10 o'clock at night, and I really just wanted to give you my take on this report because a lot of people are panicking, and then I am going to tell you who bought the dip and my personal plays when it comes to Palantir. So they said that Palantir's shares are trading at a massive premium, especially for a 13% growth last quarter. And that premium is due to artificial intelligence. But they said that Palantir's artificial intelligence, specifically Palantir AIP, has no clear-cut, expeditious path to revenue generation, which means that they have no way to market AIP and actually extract value revenue in the short term. And because of that, Palantir should not be receiving this crazy premium. And to this, I'm going to say all companies talking about artificial intelligence right now are getting a massive premium when it comes to their share price. Look at Microsoft, look at Google, look at NVIDIA, look at all of these companies that are getting massive premiums when it comes to artificial intelligence. Yes, NVIDIA actually is selling hardware, so let's take them out of it. But what about Google? What about Facebook? What about Microsoft? Why are they getting crazy premiums when it comes to artificial intelligence? If I'm not mistaken, even Tesla is getting a crazy premium, and Amazon is getting a crazy premium just because these companies are mentioning artificial intelligence, AI. So what's wrong with Palantir getting a premium? And Palantir has been a leader when it comes to artificial intelligence since before they even DPO'd. They literally out artificial intelligence revenue Amazon, Google, and Microsoft, not to mention IBM. And this is way back in 2021. Check out a post by my man Grogu. I mean, this is crazy, but Palantir doesn't have the goods. So they're bearish because they're saying Palantir will not be able to meaningfully and expeditiously monetize AIP. Also, Palantir relies on the government sector for revenue, and they're saying that there's a lot of competition in the government sector, and the government sector contracts, these major contracts, are not going to be able to offset the minimal growth of Palantir, specifically the 13% growth that we had, and it's going to be even worse because they can't compete in government sector because there's a lot of competition in the competition for government business. And finally, they're saying that they're guiding for 16% year-over-year growth full year, and they're saying it's questionable if Palantir can even reach 16%, and if they do reach 16%, they're going to have a really hard time surpassing 16% because of this inability to monetize and monetize quick artificial intelligence platform, the AIP platform, which is very, very interesting to see. That's their bias. That's their hate. I don't believe what they're saying, and I'll explain to you why. There's also saying that the two major catalysts right now is the NHS contract, the massive $600 million to $1 billion contract from the NHS that we are thought to have, and the S&P 500 inclusion. So they're saying this might be buy the rumor, sell the news, that when we get the NHS contract and get admitted to the S&P 500, which is probably going to be in the beginning of next year and announced at the end of this year, that it's not going to really do anything and there's going to be a massive sell-off. Not sure I agree with that. Let me know in the comments down below. I'll wait just a moment. I'll take another sip of my coffee. Do you guys agree that there's going to be a buy the rumor, sell the news with NHS contract and S&P 500? Let me know down below. Finally, they're giving Palantir three prices: a bear, a base, and a bull. The bear is $4, the base is $9, and the bull is $20, which is interesting, $20. They're saying by 2028, in the bear case, Palantir is only going to grow 11% compound annual growth rate for revenue of $3.6 billion. Base case, or this $9 case, 19% compound annual growth rate, $5.3 billion. And a bull case of $20, which would mean 30% CAGR, compound annual growth rate, and $9.1 billion worth of revenue. Interesting. Now, as I mentioned before, Morgan Stanley is a name that rings bells in the Palantir community, and I'll tell you why. Morgan Stanley is actually a shareholder of Palantir. It's actually a massive shareholder of Palantir. And it's actually a shareholder of Palantir that's increasing their stake in Palantir. So they're buying shares of Palantir even though they're bearish on Palantir. If the base case is $9 of Palantir, explain these numbers to me really fast. On August 14th, they filed something called a 13F. And the 13F basically breaks down what's being bought and what's being sold by a company. And they showing that they have 17,938,731 shares of Palantir. Guys, mind you, this is literally 2 weeks ago. Now, I know a lot of shit can happen in 2 weeks, but I honestly think that the next 13F that they're going to come out with is going to be over 20 million shares. And if that's the case, this shit should be illegal because they're literally making a market. Now, I'm not accusing them of doing that because we need to see what's going to happen with the 13F, but something might be fishy over here. Now, you might say, well, Adam, that's great. They own a shit ton of shares that's worth $270 million worth, but they're allowed to buy shares, and maybe things changed in the last 2 weeks. Maybe. But on May 15th, they had a 13F that was filed. Believe it or not, they only had 11,464,272 shares of PLTE, of PLTR. I'm sorry, it's late, guys. I apologize. So that's a 56% increase in shares of Palantir. My question is, guys, you literally had 11 million shares. Now you have 18 million shares. This was disclosed just 2 weeks ago. A lot of shit can happen, but that's $270 million worth of shares. That is a really, really big number and ownership of Palantir. That's not like a tiny number, right? That's pretty freaking big. That's like almost 1%, if I'm not mistaken, right? Just under 1% ownership of the company. And all of a sudden you come out with this report. They literally made a buying opportunity here. Somebody that puts out a report that's bearish on Palantir right when it's about to run up, but has so much shares and literally increased their shares by over 50% in the course of a quarter, something doesn't add up. Something here is very, very suspicious. Now, I'm not accusing anybody. I'm just coming up with my own theory. How are you bearish on a company putting out a report like this when you're increasing your shares dramatically of said company? I want to see what's going to happen in the next 13F. I definitely want to see what's going to happen in the next 13F to see if they have more or less shares than 18 million, which is going to be interesting. I think they're making themselves a buy to dip opportunity because if they truly believe that Palantir is a $9 company, why would they be buying shares at higher than double digits to increase their position and exposure to Palantir? It doesn't make sense. Now, what did I do with Palantir? But before I do that, Cathie Wood bought the dip, and she bought 670,000 shares of Palantir more, which is now worth $10 million. So this one buy is worth $10 million. I think this brings her stake up to 6 or 7 million shares of Palantir, which is starting to be a significant position. So her conviction's getting back into Palantir, which is so interesting, to say the least. Personally, what I ended up doing, when Palantir was down to around 1480, 1490, I ended up buying 20 cash secured put contracts, and I bought it at a $14 strike. So if Palantir hits $14 by the end of the day tomorrow, I will end up buying an extra 2,000 shares of Palantir. And if Palantir doesn't hit $14 and it's $14.01 or more, I ended up collecting my premiums today. It's pretty cool to be able to sell a cash secured put when there is a massive nosedive in the price. I don't think Palantir is going to hit $14 tomorrow. If it does, I'll buy the shares. It is what it is. But I'm just enjoying selling cash secured puts and cash secured and covered calls on the other hand. I make money in a red market. I make money in a green market. I make money every single week selling calls and puts on Palantir. I do it with a lot of different stocks. And if you want to learn more about my strategy, my wheel strategy, I put out a weekly video for my channel members. Channel membership is $3 a month. I make you custom videos, and there's a lot of great content. If you want to support the channel or buy me a cup of coffee, channel membership down below. I wouldn't be too worried about this report for all the people that are looking to buy in to increase their shares of Palantir. This is probably a good opportunity. Don't forget, Bank of America reiterates their $18 price target. Dan Ives, Webb Bush reiterates their $20 price target. And for every hater, there's going to be a lover, but something's fishy about Morgan Stanley, because usually if you're a hater, you don't buy shares of the company and you don't own nearly 1% of the company. Something here is quite weird. Guys, thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys rocking out with me. Sorry for the late video. Sorry for me slurring my words. I'm exhausted right now. I've been out all day long dealing with family stuff. Thank you very much. I love you all. Have a great day.